with a heart caught up in doubt and worry. I face my life every morning, wanting to shine, but somehow holding back joy and fear, sorrow within my heart. Still I know, even one as small as I can run into someday and find a shining, shimmering, brilliant light flowing from a path that never ends. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads held high, for we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives. When I'm down and ready to surrender, when times are hard and it seems so dark, just knowing each day that I'm never on my own gives me strength and courage to try harder. Holding hands with my friends standing by my side, swinging arms together we will walk to the shining, shimmering, brilliant light glowing from a path that never ends. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads held high, for we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads held high, for we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today for our fifth annual Fukyō Kōrōsha Hōtokusai. This particular service is, and I'll explain to you after the service, but it's a kind of a very special service, and I think we're the only ones, excluding the churches in Brazil, who actually do this particular service. And this particular service focuses on those who actually came over, whether help to spread this faith and help people outside of Japan versus inside of Japan. And I don't think there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of interest in that for a lot of people. And I'm so grateful to have this year because it was our fifth. This is our fifth annual Fukyō Kōrōsha Hōtokusai. I'm really grateful that Reverend Kyoji Konko accepted my request to do a Japanese. Sorry, for those of you who don't speak Japanese, I'm so sorry. You'd have no clue what goes into doing an English sermon for him. So that's a lot. So I figured Japanese was best. And I'm really grateful because he's been someone who's really supported the efforts that have gone into this particular service. And so for those of you who do understand Japanese, we're very grateful that we have Kyoji Sensei, who is our speaker for today, who has a video sermon. I wish he was here, but his is a video sermon. So without any further ado, I'd like to begin today's service. Chido Haire, 4 sincere claps. Prayer of Sincere Toritsugi, page 1 of the supplement. Prayer of Sincere Toritsugi. I am a Konko Kyo believer. I believe in Ikiyami Konko Daijin, Tenchi Kane no Kami. I've come today to practice my faith, appreciate and acknowledge the blessings, favors, and interventions of Tenchi Kane no Kami. Honor the ancestors and learn more about the faith of Konko Daijin. As I learn more about the heart of Tenchi Kane no Kami, I nurture the faith of my spiritual family. Thus, I boldly confess that my mind is alert, my heart is receptive, and it will never be the same as long as I practice the faith and receive Toritsugi. Kyami Konko Daijin sama, Tenchi Kane no Kami sama, thank you. Haire, 4 sincere claps. Chido Haire, 4 sincere claps. Amatsunorito, page 2 of the prayer book supplement. Takaman no haran ni kamuzumarimasu. Kamurogi kamuromi no mikoto mochite sumemi oya kamuizanagi no mikoto tsukushin no hyugan no tachibanan no odo no awagi hara ni misogi arai tamau toki ni aremaseru araedo no kami tachi mono mono maga goto tsumi kegare o harai tamai kiyome tamae to mosu koto no yoshio wa matsu kami kunitsu kami ao yorozu no kami tachi tomon ame no fuchi koma no mimi furitate kikoshimese to kashikomi momosu. 一度敬礼。Please bow your heads in prayer. 寿司見て、極み金光大臣の恩内に間を割く。今より第5回海外サンディエゴ布教功労者報徳祭に取り種ねて使え祭らんとす。教祖金光大臣様をはじめ、歴代金光様、副大金光様、金光教大阪教会、千尋教会、玉溝屋教会、サンディエゴ教会、ノル教会、安倍の教会、和平和教会、各教会、主代教会長、歴代教会長、現教会長の恩とごすがり申し、今日の見祭りを使え祭らんとす。これあげ行わん礼儀教区5日に、おろがみ祭る信奉者もろもろ、おのものもみを正し、心新たにいただかしめたまえと、カントリー次恋ねぎたて祭りて、かしこみもまおす。極み金光大臣、I seek your toritsugi for today's service. Today, we conduct the fifth appreciation ceremony, honoring those who are of meritorious service to the faith outside of Japan and here in San Diego. As someone without virtue, I seek to receive and cling to the virtue of Konko Daiji, the successive Konko-samas, the present Konko-sama, as well as the founding and past present head ministers of the Konko churches of Osaka, Michihiro, Tamamizu, San Diego, Honolulu, Abeno, and Waihiwa for today's service. Tenchi Kane and to the Mitama spirits. Today the believers and I come together with our hearts, bodies, minds, refreshed, purified, and ready for today's service. Thank you. Now, please raise your heads. Please open your prayer books to page 7 for the Adoration Prayer. Adoration Prayer. We lift our eyes in awe toward heaven soaring above. We lift our eyes in awe toward heaven soaring above. We bow our heads in prayer toward earth rich and deep. Living amid such gifts of Kami's great giving, how happy and grateful we are. The mediation of Ikigami Konko Daijin does not stop for a single day. The protection of the Divine Parent embraces all far and wide. The blessings of Kami flow without limit through all generations. The ways of Kami are mysterious and wondrous, beyond our understanding. Day by day, every day, earnestly and reverently, we praise the virtues of Kami. We honor the power of Kami. 一度敬礼 Please bow your heads in prayer. かけんまくもあやにしこき、天地金の神のお広前、教祖金光大臣の前に、最終、つしみ病、かしこみも間を咲く。On this cool and serene winter morning, here at the Congo Church of San Diego, we come before you with hearts united as one, on behalf of your beloved children. We gather to offer our love, sincerity, and deepest appreciation for the boundless blessings you bestow upon us every day. We give thanks for the life and love you nurture within us, the unceasing blessings and favors, the protections that guard our paths, and the interventions that guide us through our life's challenges. We're grateful for the rain that replenishes our reservoirs and aquifers, the air that fills our lungs and sustains our lives, and the ono food we are privileged to partake in, and the ohana and friends who enrich our journeys. Through our continued practice of faith, we awaken to the infinite megumi or blessings that you shower upon us daily. We thank you not only for the blessings we recognize, but also for those yet to be revealed, trusting that each moment of gratitude brings us closer to you. Kami-sama, one of the pillars of the San Diego Church is to honor, remember, and appreciate our foundation. Thus, this time we offer our hearts of appreciation for the daily goyo of our spiritual patriarch Kyoshi Konko-sama, the Reverend Hiromichi Konko. We pray that you will keep him and his wife Nobuko Sensei healthy for them to continue with their goyo. We thank you for our parent church and head minister Konko Church of Tamamizu, Reverend Masao Yukawa, his wife the Reverend Nobuo Yukawa, as well as the Tamamizu Church's associate ministers and trainees. Please keep them healthy and strong in order for all of them to continue with their goyo and help the Ujiko of Osaka, Japan, and the world. We offer a heartfelt gratitude for the San Francisco Church and the late Reverend Matsui, who provided the love and spiritual nourishment needed by the late Reverend Norikazu Yukawa during a time of great uncertainty in his life. Their steadfast support allowed him to find clarity and purpose in his journey of faith. At this time, we also extend our deepest mahalo to Reverend Joanne Tolosa and the San Francisco Church for their unwavering prayers, love, and guidance. As Reverend Tolosa prepares to conclude her tenure as head minister on December 31st, 2024, we honor her years of devoted service. With her transition to senior minister, we celebrate her continued dedication and wisdom. We pray as well for the Reverend Rodney Takashi Yano, who will humbly accept the sacred goyo as the seventh head minister of the San Francisco Church. Alongside our prayers of appreciation, we humbly ask that you continue to guide both ministers in their respective ministries. May they grow ever more deeply into the mediators you need them to be, carrying forward the light of faith with strength and grace. We humbly offer prayers of a deep appreciation for Bishop Amy Uzunoe-chin, who will conclude her tenure as the Bishop of the North American Diocese on December 31st, 2024. We thank you for her steadfast leadership and unwavering guidance, which has carried the North American Diocese forward during an era of unprecedented challenges, including the trials of the COVID pandemic. With gratitude in our hearts, we reflect on the resilience and dedication she embodied, much like one who finds rest and renewal even upon a humble tree stump in the mountains, discovering blessings even amidst adversity. As we prepare to welcome the Reverend Roderick Yuzo Hashimoto as a new bishop on January 1st, 2025, we humbly ask that you watch over him, guide him to make decisions that foster the growth and development of the faith, not only within each church, but also within each minister and believer. May he unite our ministers with humility and purpose, nurture the faith of current and future generations, and collaborate effectively with other dioceses. We pray for the strength and wisdom as he takes on the immense responsibilities of addressing the many challenges our diocese faces. May he be inspired to grow the self-reliance fund tenfold, ensuring a foundation of true self-reliance for the diocese and its churches. Please grant him and his team the insight, compassion, and perseverance needed to find solutions that will bring lasting stability, unity, and light to all. We also offer prayers of appreciation for those ministers who have supported and continue to pray for not just the San Diego Church, but also the flame of faith that continues to burn ever so brightly here in San Diego County. Mahalo nui for the late Reverend Heiki Konko, Mrs. Yaeko Konko, the Reverends Kenshin Konko, Kyoji Konko, Toyo Saito, Masao and Nobue Yukawa, Hisao Yukawa, Koichi Yukawa, Robert and Mitsue Jiweleti, Roderick Hashimoto, Koichi and Seiko Konko, Kyoshi and Wakiko Igawa, Imaoka Motoko Hime no Mitama no Kami, Tamie Imaoka, Itsuo Ishimatsu, Edna Matsuoka, Kazuichi Nogata, Joanne Tolosa, Shuko Tsuda, Nobuharu Uzunoe, Michinori and Ikue Yagi, Rodney Yano, Yasuhiro and Reiko Yano, Mitsuko Yasutake, and Bishop Amy Uzunoe Chin. Please keep these individuals in good health so that they may be allowed to continue to do their sacred goyo. We also offer prayers of appreciation for the late Dr. Katsumi Miyai and his wife, Mrs. Choko Miyai, for planting the seed of faith here in San Diego County. Thank you for Mrs. Miyai as she continues to do her utmost to nurture the hearts and faiths of the members of the North County San Diego Gathering. We ask you keep her healthy and strong and allow her to continue sharing your message of love and hope with those in and out of San Diego County. We also take this time to honor and appreciate you for sending the late Madam Mitsuhiro Bando, the late Reverend Norikazu Yukawa, and Reverend Masaharu Kikigawa, who in their own respective ways helped those suffering to find salvation through faith here in San Diego County. We offer a heartfelt appreciation for the Reverend Roderick Hashimoto, whom you sent to assist as a second head minister. With hearts full of aloha and mahalo, we express our profound gratitude to Mr. Richard Dick Spees and Mrs. Kimio Spees, who, with boundless devotion, saved this church from the brink of closure. By dedicating an entire room to Kami-sama, they ensured that this sacred space would endure. We honor this hiromai, lovingly established by Mr. and Mrs. Spees, by striving to remember that this is the home of Ikiyami Konko Daijin and Tenchi Kane. It stands as a sacred sanctuary, offering salvation, solace, and hope to all who seek it, be they human or mitama. Yet we humbly acknowledge our shortcomings in persevering this sanctuary in its pristine condition. With deep sincerity, we pledge to renew our efforts, ensuring it reflects the reverence and care it so rightfully deserves. Because of the Fukyō Kōrōsha, we are here. We are allowed to know you, recognize your blessings, and receive your favors, interventions, and protections. We conduct the 5th Fukyō Kōrōsha Hōtokusai, the appreciation ceremony honoring and remembering those of meritorious service to the faith, both outside of Japan and here in San Diego. Beginning with Kyoso-sama, we honor those who selflessly dedicated themselves to kindling and sustaining the flame of faith beyond Japan's shores. Through their boundless devotion, Konkokyo has journeyed across the Pacific, finding a home in places such as the continental United States, Canada, Hawaii, Brazil, Paraguay, Australia, and beyond. As we commemorate these extraordinary beings today, we pray for the wisdom to reflect deeply upon our own relationship with you. Let us take this moment to consider our shared story, our bond with you, by engaging in a heartfelt dialogue, seeking solace and guidance in your sacred sanctuary, and embracing the profound truth of interdependence between us. In nurturing this relationship, our faith flourishes and our light shines ever brighter. No matter the darkness that surrounds us, we are the light, your precious children. By steadfastly walking this path, we ensure that the sacrifices of the Fukyō Kōrōsha will never, ever be in vain. With this, I end this prayer and will move to the Mitama altar to begin the Fukyō Kōrōsha Hōtokusai. We pray that the blessings and favor of today's service is granted and received by all here today, and those who could not be with us. Me ke aloha pume hana. Mahalo anui e, our beloved Ikiyami Konko Daijin, Tenchi Kane no Kami. Now, please raise your heads. 一度共に入れ four sincere claps along with the head officiant. Please open your prayer supplement to page 3 for prayer for grace. 神様, give me grace for this day, not for a lifetime, nor next year, next month, next week, or tomorrow. Yes, give me grace just for this day. Direct my work and bless it. Advise me in the things I say and give them blessings too. Direct and bless everything that I think, do, and speak, so that for this one day I have the gift of grace that comes from your presence. 神様, just this one day, let me live generously and kindly in a state of grace and goodness that makes me a little bit like you. 一度入れ four sincere claps.一度入れ four sincere claps. Please open your prayer books to page 12 for the Mitama prayer. Spirits of those who have gone before us, you were given the gift of life in this vast and endless universe. You discharge your duties faithfully, each according to your span of years. You will be remembered eternally, your lives retold from generation to generation, honored as a foundation of our society, the roots of our families. Through the mysterious workings of Kami, you entered the Konko faith. You walked the way of Konko Daijin, respecting the will of the divine parent. You amassed great merit through your faith to take into the world beyond and leave to your descendants. Our gratitude is boundless for your loving favors. We revere you as the ancestral spirits of our homes, our own divine spirits. We beseech you, stand by us each and every one. Receive the favor of Kami and help us to fulfill our tasks as people without failing. Protect us, guide us, enrich us, that we may never lose the way of faith that we handed down to all generations, that we may live in peace and prosperity within our homes. Protect us, guide us, enrich us. Chido Keirei, please bow your heads in prayer. 本校の光、世界に広げし、功労者、真心に感謝、尊き使命。The light of Konko shines, spreads across the world with care, grateful to those souls in sincere dedication, sacred mission embraced. 岩幕も尊き、金光詩人つらゆきの君、ことの金光教教主、金光説種の君、金光教元の金光教教主、金光鏡太郎の君を、先の金光教教主、 金光平気君をはじめ、我が道の内との布教功労者の御霊の神たちの前に、慎み病も間を裂く。This morning we have gathered to honor you, those who have gave so much of yourselves and made countless sacrifices, so that the light of faith could transcend the borders of Japan. Today we humbly and sincerely recognize and appreciate the Fukyō Kōrōsha, those whose meritorious service brought Konkokyo to new lands and hearts beyond Japan. It is vital to remember, however, that international missionary work did not begin with ministers leaving Japan. The Reverend Yoshitsugu Fukushima taught us that the seeds of international missionary work were sown during the time of Kyoso-sama, when Japan was divided by countries rather than prefectures. Later, during the era of the second Konko-sama, it seemed divinely preordained that key ministers were sent to specific regions within Japan to prepare for the eventual mission of sharing the faith outside its shores. Shinji-sama, your discipline and steadfast teachings were like the nourishment needed to cultivate strong ministers who, in turn, nurtured disciples destined to become apostles. These apostles would eventually carry the light of faith to lands far beyond Japan, ensuring its growth and spread. We also take this moment to honor the late Reverend Setsutane Konko. During your tenure, the faith expanded beyond Japan, beginning with Taiwan and later reaching Canada, the continent of the United States, and the territories of Hawaii. Your leadership and vision allowed the light of faith to cross oceans and cultures. With deep gratitude, we thank you, Setsutane Konko, for your continued prayers and guidance which illuminate our paths even now. Your work and that of the Fukyō Kōrōsha reminds us that the light of faith can shine brightly wherever it is carried, nourished by the love and sacrifices of those who came before. Thank you very much. At this time, we will begin the yobidashi, or the calling of the names. Before we begin the solemn reading of names, let us first honor those who have safeguarded the sacred path of Toritsugi, ensuring its perpetuation for generations to come. We begin by acknowledging the source of teachings, Kyoso Konko Daijin, Jinriki Otoshi no Mikoto. We also acknowledge and offer our prayers of aloha, appreciation, and sincerity to Konko Shijin Tsurayuki no Kimi, the second Konko-sama, Shijin Konko, Konko Setsutane no Kimi, the third Konko-sama, the Reverend Setsutane Konko, Konko Kagamitaro no Kimi, the fourth Konko-sama, the Reverend Kagamitaro Konko. Today, in this your inaugural year as a Fukyō Kōrōsha, we offer our heartfelt prayers of gratitude, sincerity, and aloha to Konko Heiki Kimi, the fifth Konko-sama, the Reverend Heiki Konko. Much like your esteemed predecessors, you continue to serve as a guiding mitama, tirelessly supporting the work of Toritsugi not only at headquarters, but throughout all churches. May we, in honoring you and all those who have walked this path, embody the teachings of finding gratitude even in the simplest of blessings and favors, like resting upon a tree stump in the mountains. For in each moment of rest, we discover the depths of divine blessings. We come to learn of Kami's heart and love for us. And each step forward, we renew our commitment to faith. Now, we must honor the roots of the Fukyō Kōrōsha by calling on their Oya Kyokai, or parent church. And we start with Konko Church of Osaka, Shirakami Iyahiro Mamichiwake no Mikoto no Mitama no Kami, Shirakami Michioki Iyatakane no Kimi no Mitama no Kami. Konko Church of Geibi, Sato Izuno Michiwake Mihashira Takashiru Kimi no Mitama no Kami, Sato Magokoro Takateru Hime no Mitama no Kami. Konko Church of Kokura, Katsura Matsuhei Izumi Chitatsu Kunishine Ushi no Mitama no Kami, Kyobo Katsura Magokoro Aishin no Mitama no Kami, Katsura Sueko Hime no Mitama no Kami. Konko Church of Namba, Kondo Itsugaki Fujimori Akitaka no Kimi no Mitama no Kami, Kondo Umashi Magokoro Tamatsuyu Hime no Mitama no Kami. 金光 Church of 天城、安武松太郎馬市道分伊豆栄牛の御霊の神、安武文雄牛の御霊の神、金光 Church of 北九州八幡、野中猪吉の御霊の神、野中三国牛の御霊の神、野中正人牛の御霊の神、金光 Church of 東京、畑徳三郎東の道分牛の御霊の神、畑はじめ牛の御霊の神、畑清牛の御霊の神、畑久美子姫の御霊の神、金光 Church of 笠岡、笠岡金光大臣イス助けの御事の御霊の神、金光 Church of 紀伊、茨城久の真心玉ハエ姫の御霊の神、金光 Church of 岡山中部、松山成道広則牛の御霊の神、松山一真心連れなり姫の御霊の神、金光 Church of 福岡、吉木映像の真道柿羽の牛の御霊の神、金光 Church of 道広、稲垣貞七馬市豊木牛の御霊の神、金光 Church of 新宿、岸井幹蔵牛の御霊の神、岸井則夫牛の御霊の神、金光 Church of 鶴の港、初代大久倉田の御霊の神、二代梶原三太郎馬氏正直安則の牛の御霊の神、梶原末の御霊の神、金光 Church of 玉水、湯川安太郎馬氏道照美柱牛の御霊の神、湯川茂牛の御霊の神、湯川安夫牛の御霊の神、金光 Church of 愛楽、大坪総一郎伊豆の真心尽くしね牛の御霊の神、大坪勝彦の御霊の神、金光 Church of 福崎、牛尾広美道分真柱牛の御霊の神、牛尾小春照玉道森姫の御霊の神、牛尾広直伊豆の道置広則牛の御霊の神、金光 Church of 松永、浅井勘次郎の道置増金牛の御霊の神。Before we start with the reading of those who've given themselves to the faith outside of Japan, it is tantamount to recognize, honor, and offer prayers of appreciation to two ministers who made it possible for future ministers to leave Japan and share Konko Daijin's faith with the world. Konko Kyo Taipei Kyokai, Konko Church of Taipei, Saito Junzaburo no Ushi Magokoro Toyo ne Ushi no Mitama no Kami, Oka Shigezo Ushi no Mitama no Kami. In 1903, with the blessings of the third Konko-sama and the second Shirakami Sensei, you, Reverend Saito, and the Reverend Oka were sent together to begin the sacred Goyo of Toritsugi on the island of Taiwan. Reverend Saito, you became the founding minister of the Taipei Church, dedicating yourself to sharing Konko Daijin's teachings with the native people of Taiwan. Through your unwavering efforts and in partnership with Reverend Oka, by 1908, you had not only saved over 680 lives, but also nurtured the faith of believers so deeply that the Taipei Church grew to include 6 branch churches across the island. At this moment, we offer our heartfelt gratitude to both of you for setting the foundation and paving the way for Konko Daijin's Toritsugi to reach and inspire people around the world. Thank you deeply and sincerely for your profound contributions to not only humanity, but also Tenchi Kane no Kami. We will now begin reading the names of those who have meritorious service outside of Japan, starting with Konko Kyo Hoten Kyokai Shodai, Konko Church of Hoten, China. Inazu Hiromi no Mitama no Kami, Konko Kyo Taijin Kyokai, Konko Church of Taijin, China. Sugimoto Tadashi no Mitama no Kami, Sugimoto Mitsuo no Mitama no Kami, Hideshima Rikimatsu no Mitama no Kami, Konko Kyo Dairen Kyokai, Konko Church of Dairen, Manchuria. Matsuyama Narimichi Hironori Ushi no Mitama no Kami, Matsuyama Ichi Magokoro Tsurenari Hime no Mitama no Kami, Konko Kyo Razu Kyokai Shodai, Konko Church of Razu, North Korea. Koda Tama Hime no Mitama no Kami, Konko Kyo Singapore Kyokai, Konko Church of Singapore. Uehara Eikichi Ushi no Mitama no Kami, Nakajima Yaroku no Mitama no Kami, Yasunaga Itsuo no Mitama no Kami, Konko Kyo Hong Kong Kyokai Shodai, Konko Church of Hong Kong. Tsuda 和夫の御霊の神、金光教西大門教会、金光 Church of West Diamond, South Korea、イーウォン牛の御霊の神、天野直行の御霊の神、牧山元則の御霊の神。I would like to take this opportunity to offer prayers of appreciation to 金光教奥平野教会元在籍教師、金光教曽根教会二代教会長、the 金光 Church of 奥平野 former associate minister, and the 金光 Church of 曽根 second head minister, 片島幸吉牛の御霊の神、Reverend 幸吉片島。Without you, the missionary work in the Americas and Hawaii would not have been possible. Katashima Sensei, at the request of followers living in places such as Washington, Utah, and Hawaii, Konkokyo headquarters sent you to the United States mainland and the territory of Hawaii as the Secretary General of the Konkokyo Youth Association. Your mission was to better understand the needs and circumstances of believers in these regions. You gave inspiring lectures in Seattle, Los Angeles, Honolulu, and Hilo. The late Reverend Haruko Ishiwata often shared it was because of one of your lectures that her Christian father and Buddhist mother were moved to become Konkokyo believers and then ministers. Because of you, groups were formed into the Mamichikai, uniting believers in Seattle, Tacoma, Los Angeles, and Hawaii. Because of you, the saving grace of Ikami Konko Daijin's Toritsugi has touched lives across Brazil, Canada, England, Germany, Italy, Hawaii, Paraguay, Sri Lanka, and the United States. For your pioneering efforts and unwavering dedication, we extend our deepest gratitude. Thank you very much. 金光教振興会 Seattle 上田英二の御霊の神。金光教信奉者集会 Seattle 金光教 Believers Gathering 平山文次郎牛の御霊の神。金光教シャトルマミチ会大坪亀吉の御霊の神。上田英二の御霊の神。国行工場の御霊の神。平山文次郎の御霊の神。金光教タコママミチ会大坪亀吉の御霊の神。金光教ラフマミチ会元会長鳥越虎吉の御霊の神。副会長浅野金太郎の御霊の神。会計西道分勲根幸太郎沖縄の御霊の神。会計秋山秀の御霊の神。金光教ハワイマミチ会井上林太郎の御霊の神。金光 Church of Seattle 秀島力松の御霊の神。秀島野草寺姫の御霊の神。秀島無名の御霊の神。秀島徹成政にじてるイラツオの御霊の神。Friend みちこきびまいの御心大名の御霊の神。松井文雄牛の御霊の神。松井文子都知の御霊の神。湯浅道弘牛の御霊の神。湯浅久姫の御霊の神。金光教サウスパーク振興会、金光教サウスパーク振興会、上田英二の御霊の神。金光教シャトル教会、サウスパーク集会、金光 Church of Seattle、サウスパークギャザリング、秀島力松の御霊の神。金光 Church of Honolulu、小玉正幸道分真心牛の御霊の神。西田義房牛の御霊の神。小玉菊江姫の御霊の神。Dorothy 京子小玉真心伊豆根大戸寺の御霊の神。吉野正彦伊豆真心伊佐尾根牛の御霊の神。吉野菅子大戸寺の御霊の神。金光教リフエ布教省担当者、香港ミッションリフエカワイアイランドハワイ、堀部菊姫の御霊の神。金光 Church of Hilo ハワイアイランドハワイ、西田義房牛の御霊の神。西田富士姫の御霊の神。清塚鉄三牛の御霊の神。長井牧雄いかち道直牛の御霊の神。吉江長井吉江真心明るい姫の御霊の神。金光教コナ布教省担当者、金光メッシナコナハワイアイランドハワイ。清塚鉄三の御霊の牛の御霊の神。金光 Church of Tacoma、大坪亀吉牛の御霊の神。立野虎尾の御霊の神。 盾の国を真心のりわけ姫の御霊の神。金光 Church of Los Angeles。神取うまし真心とし継ぐ彦の御霊の神。後藤勲牛の御霊の神。福田義介義明君の御霊の神。西道分慶竿猫幸太郎大きなの御霊の神。露木太一牛の御霊の神。露木 Alfred 義久牛の御霊の神。Reverend Alfred 義久露木。At this time, I'm taking a pause to remember 3 ministers whose intentions were to serve Kami-sama here in the continent of North America. 金光教北九州八幡教会元在籍教師、金光教豊浦教会初代、金光 Church of 北九州八幡 former associate minister、金光 Church of 豊浦 founding minister、水岡時勇、三牛道立豊坂牛の御霊の神、Reverend 時勇水岡、Reverend Mizuoka, you were destined to arrive in Canada as a second minister to cross the Pacific and bring the light of faith to the North American continent in and around 1928. Your mission was to begin the sacred work of guiding believers already residing in Vancouver, British Columbia. Yet your path was obstructed by the anti-immigration laws of the time, which barred you from entering Canada and fulfilling your original goyo of founding the Konko Church of Vancouver. These laws, though they hindered your journey, could not extinguish your resolve. Redirected by your parent minister, you embarked on a new path to Shimonoseki in Yamaguchi Prefecture. There you established the Konko Church of Toyota, which just 3 years ago celebrated its 90th anniversary. Testament to your unwavering devotion and spiritual legacy. Reverend Mizuoka, even beyond the founding of Toyota, your influence remains a quiet but powerful force. Please continue to pray and support Reverend Roderick Hashimoto as he carries forward the sacred goyo of Toritsugi. Through his efforts, the faith flourishes in the province of British Columbia, touching hearts and nurturing the spirit of believers throughout Canada. May your spirit, steadfast and compassionate, along with that of Reverends Hideshima, Morishita, and Yamada, continue to guide and inspire this mission, just as it has done so quietly and faithful for all these years. 金光教マサゴ教会在籍教師、金光 Church of Masago Associate Minister 曽我部俊之の御霊の神、Reverend 俊之曽我部、金光教御影教会在籍教師、金光 Church of 御影 Associate Minister 今西太一郎の御霊の神、Reverend 太一郎今西。Dear Reverend 曽我部 in 今西、I humbly apologize that your stories remain unknown to us even to this day. Please know, however, that I firmly believe it was Reverend Hideshima who guided me to finally learn about the three of you, including Reverend Mizuoka. I feel that much like him, you too wish your stories and truths to be told and shared with others across the world. I've already reached out to the Konko churches of Masago and Mikage with the hope of uncovering more about your lives and contributions. It is my sincere desire to share your stories and honor your legacies by adding them to the history of goyo beyond Japan. Thank you for the inspiration and quiet guidance you continue to provide. Now, I will continue the reading of the names of those who are of meritorious service outside of Japan. Konko Church of Portland, Hirayama Iso Hime no Mitama no Kami, Hirayama Bunjiro Ushi no Mitama no Kami, Hirayama Komatsu Umashi Magokoro Nigitae Hime no Mitama no Kami, Yoshiaki Michiaki Ushi no Mitama no Kami, Bingo Reiko Hime no Mitama no Kami, Konko Church of Sacramento, Yasumura Yasukichi Ushi no Mitama no Kami, Yuasa Michihiro Ushi no Mitama no Kami, Yuasa Kisahime no Mitama no Kami, Kimura Hiromichi Ushi no Mitama no Kami, Konko Church of San Francisco, Fukuda Yoshiaki Kimi no Mitama no Kami, Fukuda Shinko Hime no Mitama no Kami, Kawakami Shigeo Ushi no Mitama no Kami, Matsui Fumio Ushi no Mitama no Kami, Matsui Fumiko Toji no Mitama no Kami, Matsui Eri Akinori Hiko no Mitama no Kami, Mr. Eri Akinori Matsui, 長谷川親牛の御霊の神、公家徳郎牛の御霊の神、金光教オークランド集会、金光教アラミダ集会、金光 金光教オークランド Gathering and the 金光教アラミラ Gathering、公家徳郎牛の御霊の神、金光 Church of Vancouver、山田浅太郎、伊豆道開き岩森牛の御霊の神、秀島力松の御霊の神、森下梅蔵牛の御霊の神、松井文牛の御霊の神、湯浅道弘牛の御霊の神、金光 Church of San Jose、山田浅太郎、伊豆道開き岩森牛の御霊の神、高市三日之助の御霊の神、福田義明姫の御霊の神、山田房子姫の御霊の神、石渡春子ヘレン姫の御霊の神、Reverend 春子ヘレン石渡、金光 Church of ワイパフ、園田サンタル牛の御霊の神、園田末香真心閉じの御霊の神、安武勝夫牛の御霊の神、安武三政春がすみ真心彦の御霊の神、安武光子にぎこの花姫の御霊の神、鳥取ジェームズ一郎牛の御霊の神、Mr. ジェームズ一郎鳥取、金光教サンピードロ布教書担当者、金光メシノフサンピードロ、西道分伊佐尾根幸太郎沖縄の御霊の神、金光教ソーテル布教書担当者、金光メシノフサテル、後藤伊佐尾牛の御霊の神、金光 Church of ワヒアワ、高橋春子マーガレット姫の御霊の神、Reverend 春子マーガレット高橋、金光 Church of Gardena、後藤勲牛の御霊の神、後藤智代姫の御霊の神、新山文姫の御霊の神、武田ヘンリー白牛の御霊の神、Reverend ヘンリー白武田、武田貞子姫の御霊の神、Reverend 貞子武田、金光 Church of 花ペペ、奥野正一牛の御霊の神、金光 Church of Fresno 木村博道牛の御霊の神、金光 Church of Toronto 西村松姫の御霊の神、森下梅蔵カナダ道分牛の御霊の神、黒田初見姫の御霊の神、金光 Church of ワイルク中井滝雄姫の御霊の神、安武勝夫牛の御霊の神、安武清高馬市道より真心牛の御霊の神、金光 Church of サウパウロ、高橋かなお姫の御霊の神、金光 Church of ビリグイ、新田勝次郎、戸津国道行牛の御霊の神、末永立雄牛の御霊の神、金光 Church of カリヒ、上野ヘンリー保牛の御霊の神、Reverend ヘンリー保上野、上野安武梅の姫の御霊の神、Reverend 梅の安武上野、サンディエゴ金光教、Dr. 勝見宮愛の御霊の神、Madam 光弘バンドの御霊の神、湯川則和氏の御霊の神、シーラ・メリー・チャップメン、紀世氏姫の御霊の神、Richard ディック・スピーズ・カブト沖縄の御霊の神、スピーズ・君を見光道の子を追うなの御霊の神、金光教カムエラ集会、金光教カムエラギャザリング、鳥取ジェームズ一郎氏の御霊の神、金光 Church of San Diego、湯川則和牛の御霊の神、Reverend 則和湯川、シーラ・メリー・チャップメン、紀世氏姫の御霊の神、Madam 光弘バンドの御霊の神、Richard ディック・スピーズ、カブト沖縄の御霊の神、スピーズ、君を見光道の子を追うなの御霊の神、金光 Church of Lancaster、池川ミシェル、信子イラツメの御霊の神、Reverend ミシェル・信子池川。To those called upon this morning, your extraordinary service to this faith is deeply recognized. You carry the light of faith from the sacred grounds of our beloved headquarters, worship hall, to far-reaching places such as Brazil, Canada, China, the continental United States, Germany, Hawaii, Mexico, North and South Korea, Paraguay, Singapore, and Taiwan. Your unwavering faith enabled you to continue Yamikon Kodaijin's sacred work of Toritsugi. As mediators, you represented the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th Kyōshu Konko-sama, or our revered spiritual patriarchs. Through your dedication, you established a profound connection between headquarters and the places you served, allowing the virtue and glory of headquarters worship hall to shine brightly in these new lands. Through your tireless efforts, the fountain of faith and virtue flowed freely, and countless people found salvation. It is because of your sacrifices and devotion that we stand here today, continuing the journey of faith you began. Now, let us take a moment to remember and honor the Fukyō Kōrōsha of San Diego, Dr. Katsumi Miyai. We humbly offer prayers of deep appreciation to Dr. Katsumi Miyai, whose passion and dedication to the way planted the seed of faith here in San Diego. Dr. Miyai, you were nurtured and saved by the love and compassion of Reverends Masanori and Aiko Oba of the Konko Church of Shiba. In gratitude for their profound influence on your life, you dedicated yourself to translating the Konko Daijin biography and sharing the teachings of faith here in San Diego. Miss Dale Nakahara once shared a heartwarming story of picking you up from the airport. Though she had never met you before, she decided, I will look for the older Asian man. Somehow the two of you found each other amidst the crowd. But what stood out most was your natural gift for making connections. Dale recounted how you began speaking about her parents, bringing a smile to her face and leaving a lasting impression. Your warmth and kindness extended far and wide. Mr. Donald Zumwalt shared that during the North County gatherings, you welcomed him with great hospitality. Your encouragement inspired him to start working on his book about him and his wife, even volunteering to help edit it. These stories reflect why so many were drawn to Konkokyo through your aloha and compassionate heart. Without your compassion and nurturing, the teachings of Konko Daiji would not have touched so many lives here in San Diego. Dr. Miyai, words cannot fully express the deep depth of our gratitude for your tireless efforts and unwavering dedication. Yet with all sincerity, we offer these simple but heartfelt words. Thank you very much. Madam Mitsuhiro Bando, we humbly offer our heartfelt appreciation for someone soft-spoken yet deeply beloved by the believers of the San Diego Church. Among the unique qualities of our church community is the shared love of Japanese dance, with many members having been active participants in the Bando Mitsuhiro Kai. Madam Mitsuhiro Bando, I remain in awe of how many of your students discovered and entered the Konko faith through Nihon Buyo. Your prodigy, Madam Hidesomi Bando, beautifully shared that one unique quality of the Bando Mitsuhiro Kai members was their devotion to Konkokyo. Hidesomi Sensei remarked, quote, I think they saw Oshisho-san's personality and grace as a reflection of Konkokyo, and they aspired to be the same, end quote. Bando Sensei, thank you for sharing the faith simply by living the faith. Your faith radiated the teachings of Konkokyo, inspiring others to follow the path of light. We honor and acknowledge you today as a Fukyō Kōrōsha of San Diego. Dear Reverends Matsui Fumio Ushi no Mitama no Kami and Matsui Fumiko Hime no Mitama no Kami, without the two of you, Reverend Norikazu Yukawa may never have found the hope and solace he so desperately needed. In his time of great trial, when his father, as a test of faith, severed ties with him, you both stepped in with unwavering love and compassion. You nurtured Yukawa Sensei's spirit, mind, and body, offering him the support, guidance, and encouragement that rekindled his faith and gave him the strength to carry on. Reverends Fumio and Fumiko Matsui, we humbly thank you for the love and care you so selflessly extended during one of the darkest chapters of Yukawa Sensei's life. Your kindness and dedication remain a profound testament to the power of faith and community. Thank you very much. Reverend Norikazu Yukawa. 教祖闇金光大臣の技を伝承して、あるは神御心のままに、サンディエゴの出足を広間を立てまき、道の教えを敷き広め、さらには疎外広間を継ぎて、御取り付き使えたまい、春はそれぞれが手持つごように、いたずき玉を 御人用の限り、サンディエゴ教会初代、川のりかずしの御霊の神に、Yukawa Sensei, your unwavering passion to share this faith across the United States is a legacy that continues to inspire us. Your first missionary efforts began in Dallas, Texas, with the establishment of the Konko mission of Dallas. While it was not destined to flourish there, your journey brought you to San Diego County, where you began small gatherings that would eventually lead to the founding of the Konko Church of San Diego. You nurtured and expanded the flame of faith, first planted in the region by the late Dr. Katsumi Miyai and his wife. Though we may no longer have your physical presence among us, the faith you cultivated endures, carried forward by the enduring workings of your spirit. Sensei, with heartfelt gratitude, we humbly thank you for your tireless devotion and the lasting foundation you built. Thank you very much. Mr. Richard Dick and Mrs. Kimio Spies. Finally, we humbly offer our heartfelt appreciation to two remarkable individuals who, without hesitation, saved the San Diego Church in this time of greatest need. Over 15 years ago, a grievous act occurred when an associate minister of the San Diego Church illegally closed and sold both church properties. In the wake of this betrayal, Mr. and Mrs. Richard Spies embraced the congregation and welcomed them into their home without a moment's hesitation. Mr. Richard Dick Spies and Mrs. Kimio Spies, on behalf of the congregation and all believers spanning San Diego County, San Bernardino County, Los Angeles County, Arizona, Colorado, Hawaii, Nevada, Oklahoma, Texas, Mexico, and Japan, we extend our deepest gratitude for your selfless act of kindness. Your generosity not only saved this church, but also preserved the flame of faith that has provided light and hope to so many. Your simple yet profound act of opening your home continues this day. As a hero, Maya remains within your care. Your unwavering support has become a cornerstone of our community. And for this, we cannot thank you enough. Mr. and Mrs. Spies, thank you very much. To those who have come before us, there are no words that can fully convey the depth of our gratitude for your love and sacrifice. Though it may be small, we humbly ask that you accept the offerings placed before you today as tokens of our hearts filled with appreciation, sincerity, and love. We ask all of you who have been called forth today to continue to watch over and guide us. Help us not only to live the teachings of Konko Daijin, but also to embody and manifest Kami in our everyday lives. Guide each minister and believer as we work to heal the world, making it a better place for everyone, both now and in the generations to come. Let's never forget that there is a place in our hearts, a divine spark of faith, that when nurtured can bring light and love to those around us. Keep the wick of this faith burning brightly within us, so that we may radiate joy, compassion, and harmony. Help us to see the world as a home for all, where love is stronger than fear, where joy replaces sorrow, and where faith brings unity. May our efforts create a world where there is no hurt or sorrow, but instead healing and hope for all who dwell here. As this prayer comes to an end, we humbly ask the Fukyō Kōrōsha to receive our prayers, offerings, hamagushi, and hearts. We ask that you be our eyes and watch us where we go. Help us to be wise in times when we don't know. This is our prayer. When we lose our way, lead us to a place. Guide us with your grace to a place Where will be safe? Me hielo hapum e hana. Mahalo. Now, please raise your heads. This time we'll have the offering of the tamakushi by our congregation. Oh. Mrs. Tashiro, can I ask you to please offer this on behalf of Reverends Wakiko and Kiyoshi Igawa? and the members of the Whittier Rose House Church. And Jennifer, can I ask you to please offer this on behalf of our speaker, Reverend Kyoji Konko? Please open your prayer books to page 36 for Sosen Sanji. よよのおいやは我が家の神、我が神と心尽くして、いつき祭らんな心尽くして、いつき祭らんな尊きみおやんの神たちよ、海の子のために家の柱を沈めたてたまい、初子のために世のなりわいを守り助けたまい、隔離世の見えぬ境にましませども、右尽くしみのみ心は写し世に変わらせたまわず、先見たまのまさきく、先はえたまいくしみたまのくしびに恵みたまいて、志は薪の柱の動きなくなりわいは結ぶ、砂面のゆるびなく真心、清らに励み努めしめたまい、うからやからやわらぎやいて、日にけにうらやすく楽しましめたまい、ついに写し世のことを得て、神の御門に参らん時には必ずしも迎え取りたまい、右尽くしみをこむらしめたまわんものと、神の実りの絶えなるをかしこみかたじけなみ、美親の恵みのおぼろげならぬを嬉しみ喜び申すことを見心も涼やかにきこしめしたまえと申す。花くしびのみ親のみたま、花くしびのみ親のみたま、花とうとのみ親の神、 あなたとのみ親の神。一度入れ for sincere claps。一度入れ for sincere claps。Please open your prayer books to page 6 for recitation of the Tenchi Kakitsuke. Higami Konko Daijin Tenchi Kane no Kami Shin ni Negae. Higami Konko Daijin Tenchi Kane no Kami Shin ni Negae. おかげは我が心にあり、おかげは我が心にあり、今月今日で頼め、今月今日で頼め。Pray sincerely with all your heart. Be one with Kami. Kami's blessings begin within, hearts grateful and caring, harmony and joy. Look to Kami always, now and forever. On this very day, pray. Oración de Tenchi Kakitsuke, page 6 of the prayer book supplement. A través de Yami Gonko Daijin, Oria Tenchi Kane no Kami, con todo el corazón. A través de Yami Gonko Daijin, Oria Tenchi Kane no Kami, con todo el corazón. La gracia divina depende del corazón de cada uno. La gracia divina depende del corazón de cada uno. Ore ahora en este momento. Ore ahora en este momento. Chido haire 4 sincere claps. Thank you very much for joining. I know that it's a long list. It's this particular service. I don't think I've ever shared this, but in talking with Kyoji Sensei, he asked, he sent it. We were going back and forth, and he asked, um, "Have you always had this service here in San Diego?" And if not, how did it start? He was very curious about how it started, and I shared with him that when I was at the Whittier Church, when I was training at the Whittier Church, Reverend Wakiko Igawa had it, and I used to think, "Oh, why is she doing another service? Oh my gosh, another big service." I used to actually think that, but before coming here, after coming, it was after coming here, she kept reminding me, constantly reminding me about how important it is to honor our foundations. So as I was explaining that to Kyoji Sensei, and I said, it happened during the pandemic. In my first year here, I didn't want to change too much. I wanted things to kind of remain the same. So I didn't really change a lot of things. But the pandemic gave me the opportunity to really reflect on my faith and myself. And Reverend Hashimoto's request that I please do at least 2 services a month. So that's where I realized, I wanted to kind of revive that Fukyō Kōrōsha Hōtokusai that Igawa Sensei had. When Kyoshi Sensei became head minister, unfortunately, he stopped the Fukyō Kōrōsha Hōtokusai. And so if you know me, you also know, and Kyoji Sensei knows me too well, I'm very passionate about genealogy, not only my own genealogy, but also looking at the historical things about Konkokyo outside of Japan. I also am interested, you have way too many books about churches inside Japan, but I'm also very passionate about learning more about the churches and the ministers and members outside of Japan as well. And so knowing that we've always gone back and forth, and he encouraged, as all of you know, he encouraged me to continue finding and looking for Reverend Hideshima's grave and learning as much more as I can about him. But in the conversation we had, I also told him we're actually the only church, excluding the churches in Brazil, we're the only church to have this particular service that focuses on those ministers who left Japan to share this faith. You know, when this particular service, though, for this particular year, in our 5th year, it seems like everyone was coming out of the woodworks. Everyone was like, hey, please include me. I don't know if that's true or not, but you probably noticed a bunch of new names and new places that were added in there. And literally last week, something just pushed me, and I found the names of those 3 ministers that actually 2 weeks ago found those 3 ministers, Reverend Mizuoka, Reverend Sogabe, and Reverend Imanishi, that I shared with all of you in the flyer that I sent out. And those 3 ministers, I had no clue who they were. All I knew is they didn't come here, but they were destined to come here. I don't have the story of Reverend Sogabe yet. I'm just waiting for Reverend Fukushima to reply to me. I don't know about Reverend Imanishi at the moment. I'm waiting for Reverend Yamamori to respond back to my fax that I sent her, because I don't know her email. But the fax I sent her. But with Reverend Mizuoka, it seemed almost apropos that the information started coming in and coming in and coming in. And when I learned that he founded the Toyota church, I said, that church sounds very familiar. I think I know where that church's parent church is. I think I know where he's from. And so I contacted a very dear friend of mine. I asked, do you know this minister? And he said, yeah, I do. This minister founded the Toyota church, and we have the same parent church. And I explained to him the reason what was going on. And then he said he was actually supposed to go to Vancouver to found the Vancouver church. But because of war, and I'm sure when we hear the word war, we tend to think of World War II, but the anti-immigration laws in Canada started because of World War I, not World War II. Because of that, immigration wasn't just towards Japanese, it was towards all immigration, including the United States. Japan wanted to continue sending people to Canada, and so in agreement with Canada, Japan was allowed to send 150 people a year to Canada. And unfortunately, Reverend Mizuoka didn't make that cut. And so, it was really interesting to have learned all of this information, and then to find out that Reverend Yamada, Reverend Ishiwata's father, also began going over there. And the reason why he could go over there was because he was coming back. He was only going there for services and coming back. He wasn't immigrating there. And then when he decided he was going to go to Canada and start the church there, Canada stopped him. And then he was sent to San Jose. And so in that absence, Reverend Hideshima, for 4 years, continued to go back and forth between Canada and the United States to nurture the members' faiths there. Finding this out, I shared that with Reverend Hashimoto, and I asked Reverend Hashimoto, please keep Reverend Mizuoka in his prayers. And I'm so happy. Hashimoto says, I will keep him in my prayers and I will add him to my saishi. But these are the stories we don't realize. We don't realize what went into allowing a church to be born, or allowing members. I mean, I know that we have a very dramatic, almost telenovela-like history here in San Diego. But I was so, I don't know if the word is shocked or amazed at the Vancouver church's story. How it would have been one of the oldest churches here in the North American diocese. And I really felt, and it was weird that I was in San Jose at the time. I was in San Jose at the time when I was writing to Hashimoto Sensei about Reverend Mizuoka. And then, I was going to go to the San Jose church anyway. And when I did go there, it was weird because I truly felt as if I wasn't going to Omairi alone. That I had Reverend Mizuoka with me. I had Reverend Yamada with me. I had Reverend Hideshima with me. As the three ministers who were very vital to the Vancouver church. The three of us were going to Omairi at San Jose. I just found it so magical, so powerful to be allowed to do that. And I think this is the reason why we need to remember, just as Wakiko Sensei kept trying to tell me, even after I came here, she said, you need to remember to honor your foundation. If not, you cannot receive okage. You will not receive okage. And I'm so glad that we have this opportunity here at this church, at our church, to honor not just these individuals, but also those who helped San Diego to grow, to help with either the North County San Diego Gathering, or our church here in San Diego, or the Kōsha in Chula Vista. I am so grateful that we have this wonderful, wonderful opportunity to remember. And I hope all of you will not take this lightly. You'll honor these members, honor these individuals, and continue to remember them. Because without them, truly, none of us would be here. None of us would be here. So I want to end here so that I can give Reverend Kyoji Koko his time. Please know, I think the sermon is loud enough, but I do have speakers for today as well. So what we'll do is I'm going to move over. We're going to switch over to Konko Sensei's sermon. I'm going to deactivate myself so you cannot hear me anymore. And we'll ask Reverend Kyoji Konko to please give his sermon, which I think is truly a beautiful sermon. I heard it like 3 times last night. I just loved it. So
その中で私の長女は、秋信がお国替えした高知県の大学に進学し、秋信の御霊を身近に感じながら大学生生活を送らせていただきました。大学を卒業した翌年の春に学院を卒業して、現在は本部教長の布教部でご用意いただいております。この8月には、高知の大学で出会った方と入籍し、秋信の秋の字が名前に入ったその方が明るいという字です。なんと、養子に来てくださるおかげまでいただき、くすしき感計らい、秋信先生の御霊の神の働きを感じずにおられません。秋信のお国替えは私たちにとって大変悲しい出来事であったことに違いはありませんが、金光様が我が心の信心のお手本を見てくださったおかげで、私たちは道に迷うことなく、秋信の御霊とともに、ここまで家族が身に余るおかげをいただいていることは、本当にありがたいことと、ただただお礼を申し上げております。さて、五代金光様は、うつそみの関取次の御用を終えられて、御霊の神となられてからも、ますます生き生きと我が心を私ども家族の上に、怒りある方々の上に表してくださいました。そのことを肌身で実感したのは、今年の夏の三男の高校野球を通してでした。2024年令和6年7月21日、全教主である五代金光様が冠上がられたその日、孫にあたる私の三男の高校野球の岡山県大会ベスト8をかけた試合がありました。その前日に五代金光様のお見舞いに行っていた三男は、翌朝訃報に接し、試合前にユニフォームを着てお宅に向かいました。金光学園のユニフォームの胸にある金光の字は、五代金光様が書かれたものです。金光様のご記念がこもるそのユニフォームを着て、息子は亡くなったおじいさんにご挨拶してから試合に臨みました。この日の試合では2点リードされ、劣勢が続く8回裏、ツーアウト1、2塁の場面で息子に打席が回ってきました。息子はおじいさんの顔を思い浮かべて、必ず打ちますと誓った。緊張はなく楽しかった。ツーストライクと追い込まれても打ち取られる気がしなかったと後で言っていましたが、フルカウントまで粘った末に三遊間を抜ける同点タイムリーヒットを放ち同点になり、続いて三塁から息子が逆転のホームを踏みました。試合後、息子はまっしぐらにおじいさんのもとに駆けつけました。そして帰りのバスで手渡されたというウイニングボールと泥だらけのユニフォームとグローブを金光様の膝元に枕元にお供えして、長い間頭を下げてお礼のご記念をしていたと妻から聞きました。翌日の地元新聞には、タイムリーヒットを打った息子の全身のカラー写真が大きく掲載されました。そしてその日の同じ新聞には、前日に逝去した五代金光様の記事がカラーの顔写真入りで報道されていました。令和6年7月22日、ご本部天地金乃神様の月例祭の日の地元新聞に、五代金光様と孫の写真がカラーで同時に載ったということです。このように五代金光様は、肉体の亡くなられたその瞬間から御霊の神としてお働きくださり、金光学園に奇跡ともいえる勝利をもたらしてくださいました。私たちも父である金光様が亡くなられて、 最も悲しい日であるはずなのに、私たちの心は我が心で満たされていました。さらに続く準決勝の日は、五代金光様の秀祭の日でした。今度の相手は、甲子園に何度も出ている優勝候補との対戦で、金光学園の勝利を予想した人はほとんどいなかったと思いますが、ピッチャーの驚異的な好投で、なんと完封勝ちしました。この試合でも息子はヒットを放ち、ダメ押しの3点目のホームにヘッドスライディングした息子の写真が翌日の朝日新聞に掲載されました。その日の写真には、三塁から金光が生還と書かれていました。五代金光様のご葬儀の日の新聞に金光が生還とあるのを見て、改めて金光様は死んではおられない、永世憤しの取り次ぎの神として、これからもずっと私たちを守り導いてくださいと、この上ないありがたさを家族みんなで感じました。続く準決勝は残念ながら敗れて、甲子園を目指した最後の夏は県大会ベスト4で終わりましたが、私たち家族は十分におかげをいただいたと、ある意味で清々しくありがたい気持ちでいっぱいになりました。奇跡的な勝利の連続を目の当たりにした保護者の方が、見えない力ってあるんですねと口々に言ってくださり、金光様のお得、力を多くの方が実感されたことも何よりありがたいことでした。息子は、おじいさんはこれからもずっとそばにいてくれ、力を与えてくれるとの確信のもと、今では次の目標の大学受験に向けて毎日元気に勉強を頑張っています。五代金光様は御霊の神となられても変わられることなく、ゆかりある人々の上に我が心の光を照らしてくださっています。照らし続けてくださっているのです。さて、ここまでお話しした五代金光様のご生前中の話と、藩上がられて後の話と、2つの話を通して、天地書きつけにある我が心について改めて気づかされたことがあります。五代金光様が亡くなられるまで、我が心というのは生きている間のこととどこか私の中で思い込んでいたところがあったように思います。しかし五代金光様がうつそみの御用を終えられて後に深く分からせていただいたことは、生きている間にご信心によって培われた我が心は肉体がなくなり、御霊の神となっていよいよ生きて働くものであるということでした。今日の布教功労者報徳祭で五代金光様の我が心をいただくという広大なもとにお話をさせていただくことができたことも、御霊の神となられてもますます生き生きとお働きくださる五代金光様の我が心あればこそとお礼を申し上げさせていただいております。私どもはうつそみの御用を終えた後も閣僚において我が心の信心を表してくださった五代金光様の我が心をこの道の生きたお手本といただき、生きても神、死にても神ともおっしゃる生き神の道を表すおかげをここからも被らせていただきたいと願わせていただいております。生き神とはここに神が生まれるということで、みんなもその通りにおかげを受けられる。生き神とはここに神が生まれるということで、 この方がおかげの受け始めである。みんなもその通りにおかげを受けられるぞ。と見教えくださっているように、極み金光大臣取り次ぎのお働きをもって、五代金光様の御霊の神が、ここからも永世憤しの取り次ぎの神とお立ちくださり、ここからの道の上を守り導いてくださることにお礼を申し上げております。いかなる時にも揺るがない五代金光様の我が心をこの道の生きたお手本としていただき、五代金光様の我が心にここからも導かれ、そのご恩に報いさせていただくべく、ここからのおかげを被らせていただきたいと願わせていただいております。ありがとうございました。
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on the 15th. I think that's a Sunday. 15th. Take care. Bye. Want to say bye?
Bye.